Photography Explained. In hindsight, it wasn't really the greatest name to call this series because how do you explain something as visceral as photography? Well, photography is something that invokes an emotion in the person that's looking at the image. It could be happiness, sadness, intrigue, excitement, it could be anything. And the beautiful thing about photography is you could share those emotions and those feelings and those raw moments in time with the people in your life. And with Hello Games' No Man's Sky, we have an entire universe to share with the people in our universe. And that's something really special. So with this series, we're going to try and get into the tips and tricks and ins and outs of Hello Games' No Man's Sky photo mode. So sit back, relax, and let's learn a few tips and tricks. I'm Ray Reynolds, and this is Photography Explained Episode 2. And we're going to start off here on the beautiful homeworld of Christopher Browncloud on Twitter. He's made a Breath of the Wild homeworld. If you're a fan of Zelda, I'd say jump over. And we've got a little portal here, so we're going to jump into photo mode. And the tip and trick I'm going to show you today is how you can use the fog density to make an incredibly atmospheric image. So, sit here, we find our scene. It's pretty nice, easy portal there shining in the corner of the hill. And we're going to want to work with our sun. I'm going to move your sun pretty much opposite of where you want to take your shot. I'm going to get it down just about below the horizon, and you'll remember from the last episode the times to get the golden hour. You just want to have it there, get it to where you think is nice. You see we've got this beautiful purple and pink light now. You bring up your menu. I'll go to my old favourite Filmic. You can choose whatever you like. And then you want to increase that fog density. You can see it rolling in there over the hills. And you just keep increasing it. And once you get past 200, it comes in pretty quickly. But as you see, this scene is already very different to the scene we started with. Once you're happy with your fog density, you adjust your light. And you get a beautiful image like this. And that's something, it's so simple and so quick, and the fog density really does completely change the image. This looks like a really hot, humid planet with low-hanging fog there. It's really simple. And once you're happy with your image, you just crack off a shot. And there you have it. Beautiful fog density image. And we'll move closer onto the portal here and show you another little trick with portals. Once you have an activated one, you want to bring up an EXO Craft. Plop it down. Well, not any EXO Craft. You're not going to get the Colossus to do this, but the Nomad is perfect. And you want to position yourself right at the event horizon. And don't worry, this won't teleport you off planet. You can't drive through in the EXO Craft yet, but it makes for an amazing image. Just drive yourself through, and once you're halfway out, jump out, and you'll see you look at something very nice. And this makes an interesting and pretty epic action shot, where it looks like the EXO Craft is just bursting through. And again, you can play with your light. Go for your time of day. Go to the magic time, which is between 7:30 and 8. And you just line up your shot. And the possibilities really are almost endless here for what you can do with the EXO Craft and the portals. There's a lot more to do with the portals, which we're going to get into in a later episode. There's just too much to cover in this one episode, so we'll do that again at a later date. But I just wanted to show you this one because a couple of people online were asking how this shot was possible, and now you know. And if you decide to recreate it, please tag me in it, or go over to the Traveler's Scrapbook, which is our new website. It's going to be the unofficial home of all things creative in No Man's Sky. And then when you're happy with your shot, crack it off. And really, the possibilities really are endless when you're using the EXO Craft this way. And if you do decide, you can always take a picture landscape, or you can take them portrait. You'll often see sometimes I'll tilt the camera straight up for a portrait shot. That's basically once you've taken the photo in the PlayStation or the PC, you can go into your own editor and flip it, and you've got yourself a perfect NoMansSky mobile phone wallpaper. That's just a little tip from me to you. And as always, mess with your time of day, and your possibilities are pretty much endless. And you can also use the depth of field and the field of view to change the way things move in this. The depth of field is a great little trick when you're down low. You don't have to be completely out in space, as we've seen in the first tip in episode 1. And we just soften the edge of this pillar here to the right of the image, and it just adds a little bit of movement and sharpness to the EXO Craft, I feel, which is a common technique in actual photography, just to soften up the edges of the frame and the steps here. And then once you're happy with your shot, you just crack it off. And we'll just show you a quick few examples of what's possible with the EXO Craft and the portals here. So there's this, and there's this, which is a great action shot. You can have it in or out, back or front, doesn't really matter. The choice is completely up to you, and you're the photographer. So we'll move on now to our next tutorial, which is a very short version of space combat photo tips. And I do have to issue a warning here, there is some flashing images and it may cause problems for viewers with photosensitive epilepsy, so you have been warned. So here we are in space. Space combat is a whole other beast in this game. I did want to add a more in-depth one into this video, but there's just too much to do, so the portals and the Atlas station are getting their own special episode. So as you see, the lasers only appear at certain angles when you're in space photography. You can move away and they'll disappear, as so. It happens as well with the smoke and these sparks. Now we're in a battle here, we'll just show you a little tip. If you crack someone down and get their shields almost depleted, there's a great little tip here. I haven't seen anyone else do it, so hopefully I'll see a lot of people do it after this, if it works for you. So find the ship that you've been beaten down, and then you shoot, and you'll hear two explosions, two quick explosions as he blows up. You want to activate photo mode in between those two explosions. You'll hear you want to have photo mode turned on before that second, and you'll capture this, which is a ship jettisoning his cargo just before he's destroyed. I didn't even know this was possible until I did this tutorial. That's how rare this is and how the timing is needed. But it makes for some incredible atmospheric shots, as you can see. And you can see the lasers are flashing on and off there. When you take the image, they will be solid or they'll be disappearing. It all depends on the timing of the image. And once you're happy with your filter, you'll have a pretty epic space shot. But we'll switch it over here again. Just move in closer and look at these canisters as they disappear. As you can see, some of the smoke and stuff, it'll disappear at different times, depending on where you place your camera. But if you click the right timing to access the photo, you'll get something like this. You'll see the lasers frozen. So let's move on, and we'll see if we can catch another little shot of this ship, which is, I spent a lot of time playing about with this just because I was blown away that it actually happened. But having rewatched the video, it is photo mode between those two explosions, and you'll capture the canisters. And a little bit of spark at the front. And we'll come back to space combat at a later time, because it's so much fun. So let's see us under here. It's a nice little trick that I've not seen many other people use as well. You find yourself an underwater predator or a land predator and get your EXO Craft in front of them. Once you get a general idea of you're in front of them, you want to activate photo mode, swing round, and hopefully if you go in through the bum, you get something like this. And it's just a really interesting shot that shows it doesn't have to be space battles and portals and all sorts. You can really get into the wildlife side of things, which is something we'll be doing in the next episode. We'll concentrate on the flora and fauna of NoMansSky. But I just find this is a really fun shot to add in, and it can be done with land predators too, as long as they have an open mouth. It's pretty easy. You just enter photo mode, pan your camera around as long as they're facing you, move your camera through the creature's bum and into the mouth. And it's just so cinematic and just fun. This one was added in solely for fun, because what else is this game? Alright, once you're happy with your shot, to crack it off, and we'll move swiftly on. Here we are on a beautiful Barham planet, which is one of my favourites, the ones with the pillars, and our little S-class here. And we'll enter photo mode. This shot works best on moons, I find, when you've got a big planet hanging there. It just makes a very atmospheric shot. And this is another example of using the fog density to create atmosphere in a shot. Just play about with where you want your image. This little shadow point here seems perfect. You move about, just angle it up as much as you like, personal choice and all that. And then move into your time of day and go for the magic hour between 9:30 and 8 at evening, and between 4:30 and 4 and 4:30 in the mornings, and you bring that fog right up. And you can already see this is a pretty atmospheric image. You switch your filter. You get something really beautiful like this. And once you're happy with your image, remember you can move the field of view up to about 80 before you get the warping on the planets. When you're happy with your image, you crack it off. You just be anything at all you want, but I find it works well on a moon. And speaking of working well on moons, this is a little moon planet I found last night and thought I'd add on quickly at the end. I think it's one of my favourite shots that I've ever taken. So let's see how I took it. We landed on top of this canyon here, as you can see. And we tried to work out where our shot was going to be. So we enter photo mode and take a look about. You should use photo mode as an extension of your player tools in game, not just to take photos. I find in survival mode you can use photo mode to look up ahead and see if there's a cave or elements, but in this case we used it to scope out the best place to park our ship on the ridge, which is up here. And you want to find the flattest point for your ship. I've cheated and added on a little bump with the terrain manipulator here, you can see it. And you want to have your ship looking as straight on in the image as possible, just because it'll be more pleasing to the eye and it won't look jarring to the viewer. And you gotta make sure your launch thrusters are full. Smart Ray, smart. And boop. I'm not quite happy with that. And then we'll enter photo mode. We'll pull right back at this beautiful arch and mountainside, with the other planets in the system at a distance. Once you get to your distance, don't worry about spreading out the frame too much. We're going to use the sun trick here again. So we get our sun where we want it in the frame and where we want the golden light to come through. And we'll put it just below the horizon. And as we learned in last week's episode, we can get that golden flare If we put it just below the horizon, exit photo mode, look down, and boom, there comes that lovely lens flare. And then we simply pull back, and we've already got another stunning image. It looks like a completely different place from the previous image. And we'll do that time again, and then pull up our cloud level to nothing and pull in the fog density. You see it rolling in over the hills, and it creates an incredible image. You get your filter and bring it out just a little. 80's the magic number, and voila! Another stunning image. And I think that just about does it for episode 2. Next week we will get into terrain manipulation. As I said, they all need an episode by themselves. There's just too much. But for now, that about does it. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for all your feedback on Twitter and on Reddit and Facebook. It has been invaluable. We have the website now, the Traveller's Scrapbook. Make sure and check it out. We'll put all the links up here at the end. Next week we'll be covering terrain manipulation, flora and fauna, the portraiture of NoMansSky, and of course some more space combat stuff. I've been Ray Reynolds, this has been Photography Explained, and you can contact us at any of the following places. Thank you so much again for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.